music lovers, guitar heads, welcome to my first part of stay-at-home video of my series. This is part one. This is what I call Premier Guitars Rig Rundown. This series is going to show all the stuff I use and play with throughout the whole series. And I just wanted to give you all a rundown on what gear, what guitars, what strings, amps, everything I use. So, hope you enjoy it. So, first thing we're going to start off. This is my Fender Telecaster, Lake Placid Blue Infinity Series. Look at that. Of course, it's all nicked up and all that. It's been down the road a couple times. And out of all the Fender instruments, I think, besides the Mustang and the Jaguar Stratocaster, I think the Tele rocks the most when it comes to Fender players. This one I use on a couple Chili Pepper songs. Other Side, Californication, Suck My Kiss. Use it on a Paul McCartney song, Let Me Roll It, Sir Paul McCartney. Play a lot of Cinderella's tunes on this. I play Hysteria by Def Leppard on it. A couple of Heart songs and straight on a Magic Man, and I'll put that in the center position for that. And flick it back for the solo. And like I said, the Telecaster is an all-around guitar. It rocks. Put it for clean sounds, like playing an acoustic. And really great, really light guitar. Next up, all these guitars got names too. This is my Yamaha L6. Maple headstock, maple neck. Gold inlays. You see the maple neck. You can see the lines on the back there. Maple. All natural wood. I don't know what the pickup. I think it's what Yamaha puts the pickup under the bridge there. And this one's Nancy Page. I like to play this because I play some Art Zeppelin tunes on it. So Nancy Wilson and Jimmy Page. So that's how she got her name. And it's an all-around rocking acoustic. It's in standard tuning. Play some Tesla, Zeppelin, Hard on here, Green Day. And I was an Ovation player for years, and I still got some, but I was yearning for that wood sound. It's got a really good tone to it, so it's an all-around rocking guitar. As far as acoustic goes, next up is another Yamaha electronics in it. And this one is Alice Cantrell. It's my acoustic grunge guitar. It's tuned down half step. And back from the grunge area, my band was Alice in Chains. My favorite guitar player from there was Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains, so that's how it got its name. Alice Cantrell. And this guitar, it sounded better, tuned down to half step. So it's basically my 90s guitar. Play a lot of Alice in Chains on here, a couple Sting, Three Doors Down, a lot of the 90s top 40 rock gets played on here every last. Third Eye Blind. But I use it too on two good hits by Poison. Every Rose Has a Sword and I Won't Forget You. Simple Man by Leonard Skinner. And side 2, GNR Lives, which is Patience, Used to Love Her, One in a Million, You're Crazy. And it's just when I played this at the store one time, it was just great sound, but it needs to have it. There's something missing, so I tuned it down to half step, and it's like, that's it. That is the grunge 90s guitar. Next up is Epiphone's Les Paul Prophecy. My Epiphone, this is tuned down to half step. Play Alice in Chains on here, Kiss. Three Doors Down. As you can see, it's got the quilted front and sides EMG pickups, which are my favorite. The back's quilted, but it's got that goth neck to it. Frets. Then I play Kiss on it. Then I'll tune it down into D to play about 4 songs off the Motley Crue's Too Fast for Love, because it gets a lot of same tones. And everybody always says, "Why does everybody collect all guitars?" Yeah, you're a guitar buyer, but there's things called tunings and tones to match the recordings and the sound that you're after. This is Les Paul Alpine White Studio. We played a lot of my 80s songs on here. You know, Def Leppard, some Tesla, Great White, Faster Pussycat, all this. It's got humbucker pickups, gold hardware, and I added this. I took the original gold saddle off of it and added the Bixby Fibermate trim on it. Alpine White. It's a loud one. It's in standard tuning for all the 80s things. It's got pearl machine heads there between the pegs. Got the back here. It's all light, and then I have a real good friend who's deceased now, and everybody was getting these decals put on their lowriders and nice looking cars, and I have a car that I don't have lowriders, so it's like, why not put it on something that I love, which is guitar. Many nights we spent listening and jamming to a lot of these songs, playing guitar on here. And I've collected the guitars over the years. Buy, sell, and trade, and all this, that, and the other. And so that's how you end up with a lot of guitars. And they're not cheap guitars. They're $500 or more. They're not over $1,000, because you couldn't go that far. You don't make that much. This is my Epi SG. I call this one Little Angus. It's my all-around AC/DC guitar. And of course, I took that off and added the Big Sweet Bobber Mate. And I play mostly all the AC/DCs on here. Modern Day Cowboy, Tesla, Runaway by Joby. Backing, it's not a solid body, it's both on neck. AC/DC, and I love metal. It's a real light guitar actually too, but it's got an awesome raw sound to it. Pretty loud. That one. Right here. This one is called Billy Joel. Billy Joel from Green Day. Of course, I play a couple Green Days on it. It is a 57 Les Paul Jr. reissue. 57 reissue. Bought it 11 years ago. It's got the P90 pickup in it. Just have to add a little Frankenstein there, like it's actual control knob. So I played Green Day on this. Mama Kin by Aerosmith, Living Loving Maid, Zeppelin. It's in standard tuning, but I'll drop this down to a D. Play Cinnamon Girl by Neil Young or Outshine by Soundgarden. And then tune it back up, and then I'll drop it down to half step, play the earlier AC/DC song. And this, you can see a crack there. You can see the crack in the headstock all around there. I was sitting in here one day, and somebody was knocking at the door. Well, I jumped up and I had the old guitar stands. Well, I stepped on the cord, and when I did, bam! Bullseye, snapped the headstock right off of it. And I didn't sound pleasant too much. So I was like, what am I going to do? It's like, don't have the money to box it up and send it back to the Gibson factory to have it. So I had these posters on the walls, and one of them was Slayer. I remembered something. I went and read on it. Kerry King's dad had bought him a BC Rich Mockingbird for a graduation present back in 78, 79. And his headstock come off of it, so they took it down to the BC Rich factory, and Barney said, let them go around and see how they were going to fix it. So I just did what they did. I took wood glue, glued the headstock with a C-clamp on it, drilled some holes and put screws in it. And it's been like that for 10 years now, and it stays in tune better. It's a fun little light guitar, and it's a screamer. My next is the only one I have left from the old days. This is an iconic guitar. This is the guitar that I'm known for. This is a 1982 BC Rich Mockingbird. And I'm a vintage BC Rich person. I don't like the new ones at all. This once was owned by Art McClintock, who later sold it to Kenny Young. Kenny has put the Kahler trim on it, which I love Kahlers. I don't like Floyd Rose. Of course, it's been through the mill. It's been with me for decades. This is kind of my 80s guitar. It's tuned down in D, and I play everything on Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil, up to their latest stuff. But this one, my Motley Crue guitar, and then I'll drop it down to the C on this string. all that low E strings. So I can play Nickelbacks, Figured You Out, and then I'll tune it back up into standard tuning, and I'll play Pour Some Sugar on Me by Def Leppard, and I'll play all of Lita Ford's music on it because she is known as a BC Rich player. This I call my gypsy guitar because it's been with me from one of my favorite bands I was in from back in the day. What I use for it is, of course, it's got my name in the neck. Pretty dinged up. She's old, but she's a keeper. And I got two people who want this guitar so bad that I told them when I'm gone, they'll stand in the middle of the road with somebody in the middle. The middle guy's gonna throw up in the air. The first one who catches it keeps it. That's it for that one. Of course, I got my Ovation acoustic still. It's with a fiberglass lined round back, maple neck and headstock. Excuse me. Ovations usually don't come with pick guards. They're knockoff brands. Applause does, but I put that on there because I'm kind of an aggressive player, so it kind of gets scratched away. But I use this one. I use it on Home Sweet Home by Motley Crue. Then I'll capo it at the 5th fret, play a song called Sand by the Lovemongers. And if I really want that one tone by Tesla, Little Susie, matches it as like, my other guitar really wasn't matching the sound to it. It was like, bet you was played on an Ovation. So I was watching a video of it one day. There's Frankie Hannon, one of my favorite guitar players, playing Little Susie, and it was on an Ovation Celebrity like this one. Great tone. And they come in round backs. You get a thin body. This is mid bolt, and then there's a deep bolt. They really stick out. And then Kevin Cronin from REO Speedwagon, he is the first that has his backing, but it's not as round. It's actually flat. That's that one. Next is a 12-stringer Ovation Celebrity. It's got the gold hardware on it. 12 strings are just so unique. They're all the same tuning, except one's a little bit octave higher. It's on the stave. This one I'll use Dog and Butterfly, Gallows Pole, sampler. Wanted Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi. I'm not really a Bon Jovi person, but I like that song, and then I really loved how they did on the Crush tour, Runaway. They slowed it down with the piano, so I slowed it down and did the piano parts on this 12-string. And I'll capo it at the 1st fret, play Free Fallin' by Tom Petty. Okay, so at the 4th fret, play Mona Lisa's and Mad Hatters by Sir Elton John. And then one thing too, if you take the little strings off of these and put them on a 6th string and tune it up, they call it Nashville tuning, just real chimey, real awesome sound to it. Thought I'd throw that in. That, we call this one Wooly. Billy Joel and a Pioneer. Okay, and then we got Mandy, which is my mandolin. It's got 8 strings on it. It's tuned like a violin. And everybody's like, well, how does that, you play rock and heavy metal, how does that, that's a bluegrass country instrument. Not necessarily, with brings back a lot of Vogue or Irish or Eastern sound, and how it applies to rock and roll. Jethro Tull uses it, a band called Yes, Led Zeppelin, Heart had a big song in the 80s with Never with it. There was a band called the Hooters called a song called Danced, and then it really made its iconic thing into 1991 when R.E.M. came out with a song called Losing My Religion. It's the main instrument you hear on that. And then they do another song that I'm learning by them called The World Apart on it. Frankie Hanna uses it on the outro for the Susie. But I use this one. I use it for the Battle of Evermore by Led Zeppelin, Losing My Religion, R.E.M. And I use it on the Pat Benatar song called We Belong. One night, me and my little bro, we were outside, just doing our thing, sitting around the fire with guitars, as usual, our summer deal, and we were just jamming and sipping a few cold ones, and he goes, you know what's a cool tune? Remember that Pat Benatar song called We Belong? I was like, yeah, because that is so cool. You mostly hear keyboards on it, but you can hear the 12 string. So he Googles the chords to it. He learns it. It's capable of the 3rd fret. So we're jamming it, really getting into it. It's like, you know what? Let's take a little step further. It's like, let me go get the bandy. So I take one bandy at the 3rd fret, and I give the chords to it, a little drill that they put in there on it, and we jammed We Belong. We did it like 7 or 8 times in the yard. We're like, yeah, right on. That is so freaking cool. So yeah, We Belong gets played on this too. And then of course, Christmas time, you play a lot of Christmas songs on it. So we'll have it. That's it for the instrument part. Now these are pedals that are plugged into one another and they go to the amp. I don't use that many effects, just a little bit. I'm not a wimp, I'm a real player. I got a right and a left hand. But this is the channel changer for the head, where I get distortion with a lot of grit, regular distortion, clean. And I can put clean in this head there and get a little bit of dirty grit, which you hear like a disco playing, or if you don't have a tube head amp, which I don't, mine's a solid state. Excuse me, it adds to it. This is a noise gate. It takes out a lot of the popping or feedback. You still hear some hissing, but it takes a lot of the stuff out of it. This is a tuner. You can be playing in between songs. Instead of turning your whole guitar off and trying to tune, you just hit the button. It shuts down the sound and you can get your tuning through it. This is a popular Phase 90. It's a phaser. It's kind of outer space sounding, but I use it. I don't have a talk box, so I kind of use it as a replica of a talk box, and I use it on Man in the Box, that you hear, Kickstart My Heart by Motley Crue. Sometimes Aerosmith will do Walk This Way with the talk box, and I'll hit it. And then the next effect is called a phaser, which you hear in that song we just did the intro, Ain't Talking About Love, and Unchained by Van Halen. And that big riff that everybody knows, Barracuda. It's got that, goes like this, a sound. It's a wave sound. And then this is just a cheap Fender distortion pedal that I use for when I'm playing clean, but I want a little bit of dirty grit with the clean. for that one. I used to plug everything into a Rain power amp, but I haven't used that since probably 91. This here is a 120 watt crate head. I've been playing crates since 89. And they're out of St. Louis, and back in 89, 90, 91, a lot of players were using them. Warrant, Slaughter, ZZ Top. ZZ Top still plays them. And it's a 412 cabinet, not a 4x12. 4x12s are bigger, like the original one I had. This is the smaller cab. 30 watt speakers, crate speakers. Here it is. That's red channel. You got your power for dirty grit distortion, and then clean, and then you can mix the two. And then these two are just awesome, where you get that good metal distortion sound. Okay, then I got a little Behringer Ultra acoustic amp, and I plug all my acoustics in, and then a clip-on pickup that I plug in for the mandolin. It's an awesome sounding acoustic amp. And then also too, you can plug your mic in and you could do solo gig, like if you're doing a coffee shop or the Yellow Bricks by yourself. You can mix it all together with your guitar and your vocal. And my little Kiss gig box tin. Either keep that on the side by you or on top of the amp or the drum riser. And it's got the polish in there, picks, finger ease, fast fret. There's my slide and picks. Keep the blues harp in there. Polish, keep the rag in there to wipe the necks off. Wristband when your wrist starts hurting. If you sleep on your side like I do when you get older, you tend to screw up some nerves, and sometimes it helps when it's hurting. Pick wise, I use Tortex. This is my main pick for green picks. I'm using them since the beginning of the 2000s. The purple ones are a little bit heavier. I've used them all through the 80s and 90s. These are the main ones, but I use these if I want that real heavy sound on a down tuning sound. And as far as strings go, I use GHS boomers. Been using these since the mid 80s. 10s. David Gilmour uses them. Richie Sambora. Using them ever since. I use the Ernie Ball Slinkies every once in a while. They don't have these. Acoustic strings are the Phosphor Bronze by D'Addario, light. Now me, I like changing strings on the acoustic guitar. I change them every 3 months on the acoustics because I love how acoustic sounds with new strings. Electrics, I don't. I like playing them until they're dead, and then I put them on. They just, I don't know, they don't sound right when you put them on first. And if you don't Google a lot of stuff, this guy here, Doug Redler, maintenance book, it's got a lot of stuff in there from doing your neck, electronics, when to use the humidifiers. You know, he keeps it all simple, not big fancy terminologies or anything. He keeps it kind of humorous. This guy's worked with Slash, the Black Crowes, Goo Goo Dolls. So I use it time to time as a reference, you know, if I want to work on something. Well, that's that right there. All my cables and stuff, Planet Waves, everything, and a lot of stuff I usually get from Sweetwater or Musician's Friend or right here in Carlsbad at Tony's Music Supply. Real fun place to go down and hang out, jam. Go have what you got in stock, and if you don't have any orders for you. Real cool guys. So this is the wrap on this video. This is number 1. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Hope you had fun. Keep your distance. Wear the mask when needed. Wash them hands like Mama told you. Thanks for hanging out. And next week we'll have a new clip. We're going to coax some sounds out of these. So peace out. Deuces.